Welcome to Colonel Basketball Weekly, featuring the head coaches of Nicholls State University basketball, J.P. Piper and DoBee Plaisance. Colonel Basketball Weekly is presented by State Farm. Contact your local State Farm agent today and get to a better state. Colonel Basketball Weekly is also sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. Rouse's, either you're local or you're not. Good afternoon and welcome to Colonel Basketball Weekly, featuring J.P. Piper and DoBee Plaisance, presented by State Farm Insurance. I'm your host, Mike Wagenheim. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. It was nearly a clean sweep for the Nicholls men's and women's hoops teams this past week. We'll bring you highlights in a moment. Coming up later on the program, we'll travel half a world away with the Colonels, and we'll help you gear up for the spring sports season here on campus. We start off on the hardwood. After the Colonel men played their first home game in over 5 weeks, they ventured back out last Monday to start a 4-game Southland Conference road trip. The opponents, McNEESE State, came in at 5-7 and seeking their first league win of the year. This game at Burton Coliseum in Lake Charles, where the Cowboys were undefeated this season. Colonel forward Dantrell Thomas wasted no time. First minute, Nicholls brings it up the floor. They dare DT to shoot the ball. That would be a losing bet for the Cowboys. DT scored 7 of the first 9 points. McNEESE's leading scorer and rebounder, Deshared Guidry, rendered ineffective, misses a lay-in here, called for his second personal foul just minutes in. He was a non-factor. The Cowboys shot just 27% in the opening half. Jordan Wells missing the turnaround there. Fred Hunter with the board, and Shane Rillier spots Lyndon Smith-Hyde for the pull-up 3. Nicholls on a 12-0 run. They're up 11. Final minute before the break, Thomas on his way to a career-high 24. Drives home the dunk here. Nicholls up by as many as 19. They led by 16 at the break. It looked like a rout, but this was 2 different halves here. McNEESE goes on a 31-9 run. Dante Cannon gets the Cowboys going early second half. 10-minute mark now. Amin Torres dribble drive, stripped by Cannon. He goes coast to coast. McNEESE comes all the way back and takes the lead. The Colonels would have to rally from an 8-point deficit. But TJ Carpenter, big here. Back-to-back threes to stop the bleeding. Nicholls still down 1 point inside of 4 minutes. And then the defense stiffens up. The entry pass batted out of there by Thomas. Nicholls would go into the half court. Fred had a monster game coming off the bench for the first time this year. 12 points, 13 rebounds. The beautiful reverse layup here puts Nicholls up 61-60. 5 seconds left now. One last chance for McNEESE. Cannon takes it up the floor, guarded by Rillier. He'll get off a challenge leaner. It won't go through. The dunk is too late. The Colonels claim their first road win of the year, 64-63. What a ball game. Nicholls then turned their attention to southeastern Louisiana on Saturday, with the Colonels looking to start off conference 3-1 for the first time since 2008-2009. The Lions were looking to get off to their first start 3-1 in conference since 2004-2005 under Billy Kennedy. Let's go to the University Center in Hammond. 4 minutes in, Jeremy Smith one-on-one against Jeremy Campbell, forced back out and then makes his move here. Beautiful spin in the bucket. We're tied at 4. There were 4 ties and 2 lead changes in the first half. All Southland first-teamer Brandon Fortenberry, smooth here. Part of an 18-6 Lion run to go up 11. Late first half, Torres misses from downtown, but Hunter is there to clean it up. He earned another double-double, 22 points, 13 rebounds, but Nicholls down 8 at the break. Fortenberry pushes it to double figures, getting the screen, and he connects on the 3. He scored a team-high 21. The deficit is 10 inside of 3 minutes after another bucket from Fortenberry, and the Colonels look cooked here. But with 2:15 left, Dre Evans misses from in close, and Antonio Benton can't tip it in. Hunter collects the rebound. Shane Rillier leads in transition ahead to Dantrell Thomas. 5-point game. Timeout Nicholls. DT scored all 14 points after halftime. 3 minutes to go. Thomas with a step fake drive and the hoop plus the foul. He hits 3 straight buckets to make it a 1-point game, but he missed a free throw. The Lions come down the other end, and Benton hits a monster jumper to stretch the lead to 3 with 43 seconds left. SLU now up 5. Thomas's last second shot would fall short. The Colonels out-rebounded their opponent for the second straight game. They outscored the Lions by 18 in the paint, but fall 70-65. Nicholls now at 3-11 overall, 2-2 against the Southland Conference. They prepare to visit Northwestern State tonight and Stephen F. Austin on Saturday. Head coach J.P. Piper, though, wishes he had Saturday's game back.
You know, the game at Southeastern was tough. I didn't think we competed at a level we needed to compete at for the whole 40 minutes. I love the charge we made late. We played good defense and ran good offense down the stretch. We just didn't get enough of that into the game. And then I don't think we can win games going 1 for 11 behind a three-point line. We've got to knock down a few perimeter shots. It's part of who we are, and that's got to happen for us. But a lot of positives. Southeastern's a good team. We competed well with them on their floor. Look forward to getting them back in our place. Expect the game to be very similar. It'll go right down to the wire just like that one did. And I think all our games are going to be that way this year. I don't know that we're going to run away from a lot of people, so we got to learn how to play in those games and win in them.
Good thing is Fred Hunter's back. He's back in a big way, double-double the last 2 games out. You're going to need that consistency from him.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get that consistency from him. I told him his goal going into the year needed to be a double-double guy, 20 and 10's the target. And I think that's realistic for Fred. 20 points, 10 rebounds is something I think he's capable of doing night in and night out against teams in our league. So it's good to see him kind of finding his stride, and we need that to remain in place, and then we got to shore up around him, and we'll have a pretty solid product, I think.
We talked on the radio postgame show on Saturday about teams figuring out now T.J. Carpenter and Amin Torres. They're in the scouting report. Teams know all about them now. They're not going to take anybody by surprise. What are the adjustments as freshmen they need to make here going forward?
I just think they got to be a little tougher mentally and physically. They're good players who are capable of making plays. They're as good as the guys they're going up against in our league. And they just got to get it on the floor. There was nothing that was done to either one of them in the game against Southeastern on Saturday that should have prevented them from making positive plays. I just don't think they were ready for it mentally. So they've had a little taste of it. We're 4 games into the league schedule now. And, going forward this weekend with these 2 big games on the road, they need to be a little bit better, a little tougher, a little stronger, and better equipped to understand what's coming at them. And I think they will. I think they'll respond.
It's always a challenge trying to slow Northwestern State down. How do you think you're going to match up?
Well, it's going to be tough, to be honest with you. They're talented and deep. It's a contrast in styles, if you will. As I always say, we present some problems for them as well. So we don't have to solve all the problems that they present because they're going to have to solve some of our problems. So, I just hope we show up and compete and get some toughness on the floor and take another step forward as a program. This is a team that right now is at the top of the league, and losing to them on the road is not the end of the world. Our attitude needs to be let's come in and swing for the fences and see if we can steal one and pull an upset. But we got to play with a little bit of a reckless attitude, some abandon. We're not worried about winning and losing. We're worried about competing as hard as we can, and we're going to go for it. We're going to go after them. We're going to attack them. We're not going to back down. And get that mentality on the floor and let the chips fall where they may.
All right, best of luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Head coach J.P. Piper, you can catch tonight's game on ESPN3.com and on the radio on the Colonel Sports Radio Network. Well, as the Colonels gear up for a run at the school record 5th consecutive Southland Conference tournament appearance, we take a look back to the beginning of the season, which started half a world away.
Preseason for the Colonels means constant drills and tests of endurance, when the points scored mean less than the hard work put in. But this summer was different. Instead of running for miles, the Colonels flew them. Over 18,000 miles to reconnect with the program's past and solidify its future. Nicholls has a decade-long history recruiting players from Australia. Ryan Bathy, Stefan Bazinski, and the Colonel's 3rd all-time leading scorer, Anatoly Bose, were all standout student athletes. In August, the team took advantage of an NCAA rule that allows for a squad to take an international tour once every 4 years. Assistant coach Mike Zeppel, a Melbourne native and former Colonel player, realizes this trip was invaluable for the program.
It makes sense to go to Australia and do a tour out there. And you're allowed to do a tour every 4 years. So we did a tour, I guess, 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago. And it was time where we were able to make another tour or do another tour. So we made a trip back to Australia again, and it's twofold. It's one to let the kids see another culture, another country, an opportunity that they probably wouldn't have if they weren't playing. And secondly, as a recruiting tool, it's a big thing where people back home can see the university in person pretty much.
While on the trip, senior Lyndon Hyde-Smith received the opportunity to go home and play in front of family and friends.
It was good. It was a good experience. Because I'm obviously from Australia, my family and friends would never get to see me play. So it's a good opportunity to play in front of them, and they get to see what it's all about over here.
With this journey, the team was able to start practice earlier than most and grew closer to one another.
Get started earlier, so you're able to practice 10 practices in July before the trip, which is helps you, get things underway. And then off the court, having new guys make the trip, we had some freshmen make the trip that hadn't played before, hadn't been around the other team, the guys on the team, so they were able to come in and sort of get used to, get the feel for the guys and understand who's who, personalities and things like that, and learn stuff about each other. It's a good bonding experience.
I think we got a head start on all the other guys because we started our season a little bit early. We got about 4 games ahead of everybody. And off the court, we got a chance to bond with each other. So I was a freshman. I think we had another new guy with us. I got to bond with the team and know the guys a little bit better.
Definitely like team chemistry and playing together. We started a new offense this year. So we came in early in the summer and got a chance to work on that and trial it out in a few games over there before we came back here before conference started. So it was a good chance to gel as a team and get a feel for the offense.
Basketball might be one thing all these men have in common, but their cultures do have some differences.
People dress different over there, I guess. It was a bit of a shock to them, and talk different, they say funny words, and the money looks different, our money's colourful. We got gold coins and stuff, I never seen anything like that. Food's different, more expensive. So.
Probably the food. I really like the food over here after being here for about 6 months. But yeah, when I first got here, it was pretty crazy seeing some of the stuff like jambalaya and all that. So.
I think their style, everybody out there just dress differently and they talk different. They have different accent.
Despite how their lifestyles may differ, it didn't stop Pierce Carroll, who played 1 year of high school ball in Baton Rouge, from becoming the first Aussie to join the Nicholls tradition as a non-scholarship student athlete, signifying just how strong the pipeline has grown.
Seeing them back over in Australia, just to see the type of athleticism and speed and pace that they play the game with something a lot different compared to what's over here, what's back home. But it was great to see what kind of talent they had, and I was really impressed.
Carroll finds similarities and differences between the American and Australian styles of play, but his adjustments are coming along.
I think the discipline's fairly similar. A lot of running in practice over here, but obviously I think the big difference between the two is probably the speed that the game is played. Back home it's really casual and come up and shoot a few shots. Over here it's 100% all the time. So it's taken a few months to get used to the speed. Pretty slow to start with, so I needed to get more athletic, and it's coming along, but I still probably got another few months, maybe another year before I can actually play at this level.
While in Australia, the Colonels had the opportunity to play against Carroll, who wasn't eligible yet to suit up for Nicholls, but joined a select all-star squad for a game. His roommate, freshman TJ Carpenter, enjoys the bond they have created.
He told me that he saw me when we was over there, but I didn't know him at first. We're both funny and outgoing. So I think we got along very well.
The Colonels will carry the memory of their adventure down under with them throughout their lives. The bond between this team grew stronger, as did the ties between the Louisiana Bayou and the Australian Bush. For Colonel Basketball Weekly, I'm Ashley Dufresne.
Does State Farm let me bundle auto, home, and life to save money?
Sure. We practically invented bundling, and it all stays with State Farm.
So my policies don't go to some bundling center that ships them off to some bundle factory? I'm dealing with you, and not some bungling, bustling bundle builders.
Who have you been working with?
Stay with the company you trust.
Bundle and save with your local State Farm agent.
At Rouse's, we love football. We love the players, we love the fans, and we love the food. So whether it's high school, college, or pros, if there's a game, we're tailgating. You can tackle your tailgate too with one stop by Rouse's. Get Rouse's ready to grill meat, chicken, and pork, or pick up Rouse's ready to serve tailgate specials. Everything is made fresh for the game, and it's all good. So get the home field advantage every time you shop. Shop local. Shop Rouse's. Now that's tailgating.
Back with you on Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by State Farm Insurance. The Nicholls basketball team hasn't let off the accelerator on the women's side. Off to the best start in program history, they took to the road this past week and showed that the state of Louisiana is quickly becoming Colonel country. Last Monday, Nicholls headed to Lake Charles to face the two-time defending Southland champion McNEESE State Cowgirls, and they put them on notice that their reign is in jeopardy. Let's take you back to Burton Coliseum. 4 minutes in, the Colonel's Jasmine Scott off the mark from the baseline. McNEESE's Ariana James collects the rebound. The outlet to Caitlin Baggett, and ahead to Cecilia Okoye for the layup. The Colonel Cowgirl lead is 4, but that was the biggest advantage they have. Nicholls quickly ties it at 8, and with the shot clock running down, Imani White with a desperation 3. She had a team-high 17. Nicholls held McNEESE to 29% shooting and a 5 of 27 mark from beyond the arc. Caitlin Baggett misses here. She was just 1 of 12. Still, with under a minute to go before halftime, Nicholls is up by just 3 before White spots Jenny Nash in the corner. Nash scored 11. She was 1 of 6 Colonels in double figures. Nicholls then sets the tone early second half. Leanne McCarthy misses a mid-range J, but KK Babin saves it off a Cowgirl body. The Colonels simply wanted this one more. On the inbounds pass from Nash, the dish to Babin for the short corner connection. KK got the friendly roll. Nicholls up 6. Babin ended up with 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. McNEESE hanging around, though. Babin misses from the corner. Jalen Johnson snags the rebound and heads in for the lay-in. She had 13 off the bench, but Nicholls goes on a 22-5 run. Less than 5 minutes left, and McCarthy drains the bonus ball. Leanne scored 11. Nicholls wins going away 78-61. The Colonels pick up their first win at McNEESE since the 2006-2007 season and triumph over the Cowgirls for only the 13th time overall in 53 meetings. Next, the Colonels headed to Hammond to face Southeastern Louisiana on Saturday. While the Lady Lions had won 55 of the 69 head-to-head matchups, Nicholls has been gaining ground, splitting the season series each of the last 2 years. While Nicholls led for almost all of the first half, this one would come down to the wire. Imani White right back at it. 11 minutes in, Babin sets her up for the 3. It's 26-20 Nicholls. The Colonels shot 53% from the field in the opening half. Less than 8 minutes left until intermission. The Lady Lions cut the deficit to 2. Brandy Simmons misses here in the paint. There's a fight for the rebound, and Jasmine Scott saves it but gives it up to Bianca Harvey. Simmons finishes this time. She scored 15 points. But Nicholls rattles off the next 8 points. Babin to White, the drive and the handoff to Scott for the Bunny. Jasmine was 6 of 8. Nicholls up by 11 at the break. But the offense stalls after halftime. Babin misfires on the moves. Sierra Morris with the rebound out to Elizabeth Stiles. And SLU is within 5 with 10 minutes to go. Then with 4 minutes remaining, Stiles in transition, stops and pops. Ball game tied at 55. Stiles had 8 points and 14 assists. But KK Babin takes over, nailing back-to-back threes. This one, the second here, from way outside. Nicholls up by 4 with 3 minutes to go. Now the Lady Lions would tie it at 61 before Babin bounces to Allen inside. Alicia with the turnaround. She had a double-double effort. It's a 2-point Colonel lead inside of 2 minutes. The lead is still 2 before Babin puts the dagger in the back of the Lady Lions. 14 points, 9 assists for Babin. Nicholls wins it 67-63. The Colonels are now 11-4 overall, 3-1 in Southland play. Like the men, they'll visit Northwestern State tonight and Stephen F. Austin on Saturday. Head coach DoBee Plaisance could not be more excited.
This past week has been very energetic for this program. The way we bounced back after Central Arkansas taking on Oral Roberts, then McNEESE at McNEESE, Southeastern at Southeastern. And Southeastern's a very good team. Coach Lori Jones does a great job with that bunch. And the way we had to hold on to that win, it's been a lot of energy in this program. Even showing up for practice during the week, we were full of energy and ready to go and focus on tonight's game.
The thing I've noticed, especially about this team over the last few weeks, it's a different hero every night. Alicia Allen against Roberts, Imani White versus McNEESE. KK Babin steps up against Southeastern Louisiana. It gives the opposition so much more to think about.
Mike, life is about balance. I've always said this team has a great balance, and you're right. On any given night, any given player can step up and be big. And what's been huge, though, has been the intangibles. And KK Babin has been consistent in her leadership and her determination. And Alicia Allen, they have been stepping up, and it's be denied. And in every situation, we've had key players step up. Leanne's coming around. Leanne McCarthy had a great game against Southeastern, and we need her to continue that. And Imani, she might be a little kid, but she's playing like a big freshman.
It is so difficult to win on the road in the Southland Conference. Your first two games, you've come away with road victories. You have two challenging games ahead, Northwestern State tonight, Stephen F. Austin on Saturday. What's the challenge here going forward?
To stay focused to details and really focus on what we need to do. Northwestern is doing a great job, especially in their first year, new coaching staff and everything. And this team, Northwestern's team, has played in some big games and won some big games. So we have to be ready for them. They have a very talented post player in Upchurch, and that the inside and paint points has been a challenge for us. And we just need to step up and stay focused to the details. If we can control the paint points and control the boards, I think we'll do fine tonight.
Your younger players now getting a feel for what it's like to compete at this level on a night-by-night basis?
Yes, and the adjustment has been sort of seamless. It's not like, the wow factor everywhere we hit in, especially with Imani. Imani's this year. She came here to play, and that's one of the reasons she chose Nicholls, is she wanted to play and make an impact right away. And speaking of freshmen, we've been playing without freshman Hope Pulowski that we hope will be back tonight. She strained her foot at practice weeks ago, and she has been instrumental for us, definitely defensively, but certainly can bring us a different look on offense. So we're hoping we get a Hope back tonight also.
In the meantime, your bench has been very short. You're basically going with 5 starters, about 35 minutes a game, and then another 3 players deep in the rotation to fill out the remaining minutes. Can you keep this up? Is it sustainable at this point?
It's absolutely sustainable, but as I previously just mentioned, Hope Pulowski is going to make a big difference there. We can cut into some of those minutes with some of our 35-plus minute players. And on any given night, the 3 or 4 players that are logging in those 3, 4, 5 minutes here and there, we can stretch that to 5, 6 minutes on any given night depending on matchups. So I think we're going to be fine. This team is focused, and we have our eye on where we need to go, and we know we have to take it one day at a time. And every game's a big game, and Northwestern's going to be a big game tonight.
11-4 overall, 3-1 in the Southland Conference. A lot of clubs around the league are surprised. Those who watch this program develop over the last few years, this isn't a surprise anymore.
Not a surprise at all. This has been expected, at least from where we're coming from, for many years. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing right now, and I tell my team at times, understand we still haven't done anything yet. If we end this season 11-4 right now, where are we? We have a lot more basketball to play, and it's going to get intense. And I don't necessarily believe we have a target on our back, because, as you mentioned, in the Southland Conference, anybody can beat anybody, especially on the road. And, it's a very competitive conference, player-wise, and, the competency of the coaches. So it's a strong league, and I'm just excited that Nicholls State is part of making it stronger.
Head coach DoBee Plaisance will take Western State tonight. You can watch it on ESPN3 and listen on the Colonel Sports Radio Network. We'll be back with more of Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by State Farm Insurance, in just a moment.
Does State Farm let me bundle auto, home, and life to save money?
Sure. We practically invented bundling. And it all stays with State Farm.
So my policies don't go to some bundling center that ships them off to some bundle factory? I'm dealing with you and not some bungling, bustling bundle builders.
Who have you been working with?
Stay with the company you trust.
Bundle and save with your local State Farm agent.
At Rouse's, we love football. We love the players, we love the fans, and we love the food. So whether it's high school, college, or pros, if there's a game, we're tailgating. You can tackle your tailgate too with one stop by Rouse's. Get Rouse's ready to grill meat, chicken, and pork, or pick up Rouse's ready to serve tailgate specials. Everything is made fresh for the game, and it's all good. So get the home field advantage every time you shop. Shop local. Shop Rouse's. Now that's tailgating.
We're back with you on Colonel Basketball Weekly, presented by State Farm Insurance. Each week on our program, we'll go around campus to keep you informed on all things Nicholls. Pamela Johnson has this week's update.
The campus of Nicholls State University has been in a desolate state since the fall 2012 semester came to an end. Now, as the climate begins to change and the spring semester draws nearer, the excitement is brewing as student athletes return to prepare for the spring sports season. Although the upcoming semester doesn't officially begin until next Wednesday, student athletes have already begun prepping and reconditioning for the action that awaits them.
We've been training pretty hard. I mean, we had 6 a.m. practices running, and then we had 2-hour practices on the court, and we had a couple of invitational tournaments that we've been able to experience some tournament play.
I'm so excited to be back with everybody. We're fixing to get started within a few days, and it's just good. Like, it's a good atmosphere to be around, like back into routine with working out with your teammates, and we're just like a big family, so you're there for each other, you always have each other's back, so it's good to get back and like get started with the season.
If the stress and exhaustion from training hasn't been enough, the spring athletes are facing an even tougher challenge of juggling the task of being a student while staying on top of their athletic demands.
Struggles with schoolwork during the season is very typical for the student athlete. I mean, you'll have, most of your classes aren't easy. Then you'll have to study for those, but at the same time you'll have to have in-season schedule, which is extremely demanding even if you don't have school. And studying on the road whenever everybody else is sleeping, and you know you have a big test when you get back, so you're doing everything you can to make it better, get a better grade. You know, it's very demanding, it's very exhausting, mentally exhausted.
It is stressful, time-consuming to the max. Just trying to be the best student you can be while trying to be the best athlete you can be without, giving more to one than the other. It's a challenge in itself, and being a student itself is a challenge, and also being just an athlete is a challenge. So when you combine them, it's like a huge mountain that you climb, but once you climb it, you can do almost anything.
The coaches and their teams have high hopes that the intense training and practices will pay off come game time.
Expect a lot of heart on the court. We're going to fight for every match like it's our last one, and we're going to try to win it every match. So
we will be in the conference tournament, that's for sure, and you can expect us winning the conference tournament and going further.
You always expect a lot of fun when you come out to our games. We're going to be upbeat. We're going to take the fuel from the crowd. We're going to have a lot of fire in us.
You should expect a lot of seasonal bests, personal best, and you should expect some school records being broken. You're going to see this team get better than we have been in the past year. You're going to see this program become a better program, a more accomplished program, and you're going to see the Nicholls State Colonels doing the best we can, handling our business.
For Colonel Basketball Weekly, I'm Pamela Johnson.
Thanks, Pamela. Time to announce our Rouse's Student Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. Either you're local or you're not. Rouse's Supermarkets are local, with their roots established in Thibodaux in 1923. Trust Rouse's for great food and great values. Louisiana's best can be found at your local Rouse's or at rouses.com. Our Rouse's Student Athlete of the Week, junior guard KK Babin, who averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, 7.5 helpers, while leading the Colonels to back-to-back road wins. She was also the Louisiana Sports Writers Association Player of the Week. Well, that's going to do it for our program today. We will talk to you again next week. Today's show has been presented by State Farm. Contact your local State Farm agent today and get to a better state. This show has also been sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. Rouse's, either you're local or you're not. This has been a presentation of the Colonel Sports Network.